And it was hard for your mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, your mom kind of dealt with guilt with this.
Yeah.
Because she would see you doing things differently. So she would challenge them.
Right.
But then over time, she also sees how much better your things were working
Yeah.
than she expected. And then she'd almost feel guilty, like, well, I never taught you this, Jackie.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, honey, we're back. Part 2. We're talking about, different ways that some of us parents struggle, even though it doesn't look like we're struggling. We just went through mom guilt, and we were getting into some of the solutions. And some of the solutions that we came up with are, committing more to yourself as a mom to be able to do things that replenishes you.
Well, and I was just going to add to that. I think one of the ways you can most help even the mom of the house is as husband to be so on board with that. And I think we've gone through seasons where you didn't know how important it was for me to be that way. If we look back in our days and stuff like that, it wasn't really how clear I needed my space or what that looked like,
Yeah, and I think it was just both us maturing even in our relationship, because it's taken us a long time to kind of get to the point where even when we know how to communicate, like there's a time when you need to communicate with me and just be able to have me just listen. Mm-hmm. And there's a time, an appropriate time to offer solutions. But I think before I really ever learned that, you'd come to me with stuff. I'd be like, well, why don't you just do it this way?
Right.
Yeah. And then it would be like, okay, and it didn't help you at all.
No, it wasn't
because now
helpful.
I'm making you actually feel more guilty, like you're doing more stuff
or
wrong.
I couldn't handle it all.
And I'd walk away like, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Like, what's the thing?
Right.
And and it would almost work against us.
Yeah, it would
versus for
disconnect us more.
And so, when I started learning a little bit more about timing in problem solving, because God wired us guys to be problem solvers. That's why we always jump to that first. But there's right timing for it. And then once you and I, I'd really start listening to you. Like, listen, I'm worn out, and I stopped trying to understand why you don't feel the way I feel. Why
or do it your way, or
why things bother you that don't bother me, or how you can't compartmentalize the way I can, know. And I'm just like, well, it's because we're different. God made us different, and that's just part of men and women. We're different.
Yeah.
And so once we did get this, having you figure out what replenishes you, for you, it's an hour in the morning without being disturbed, right? It kind of sets your day.
Yes.
It's also a workout throughout the day of some sort. And that resets everything about your nervous system again.
Correct.
And those two things right there, if nothing else happened. Now, granted, there's other stuff. Hey, can I go get a cup of coffee with a girlfriend?
Yes,
or
there's
can I do
always
something like
extra.
But if that stuff doesn't happen, it's not as big a deal if these things don't
Right.
happen. And so then it's me having to step in and actually keep telling the kids, like, these windows, you have to give mom her space, and here's why.
Right.
So that way you don't have to have that conversation and feel guilty about it.
Right. And so I think that's important for the husband, the dad, to step in and help with that and take that as an opportunity and honor to both your wife and an opportunity to serve your family, because that makes all the difference to have that kind of backing.
Yeah.
And then I think next with the whole mom guilt is making sure you're not comparing yourself to another mom. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of us are different. And I heard somebody a long time ago say, you were handpicked by God for your children. And every mom has been handpicked, just like every dad is, for their children. And how their household runs, how their family runs, how their relationships run, that was anointed by God. And so we can't sit there, because we always know the whole phrase, right? We compare our worst to somebody else's best, right? And you had mentioned in the last episode, like, it kind of appears, Jacquie, like you have it all together. Well, I am emotionally stable and have been, but on top of that, more than anything, like how I handle it and process it and figure stuff out, honestly, it comes from all the guidance I have from God. It's not because, you had the answers for me. It's not even like I had the answers for me. It's not like my mom had the answers for me, I mean, he's given me this ability to be able to handle what I can for our family and to realize that, that's why that morning time is so important to really make sure you're having that relationship with God so that you can actually outpour to others and you can hear his voice in your ear on what it looks like.
Yeah. It's so important because when with all of our coaching clients, depending on whatever they're managing, which could be parenting, could be, their marriage, could be working with their employees or whatever. One of the things we always try to build in is to help people get on a path of understanding themselves and how God made them uniquely.
Right.
And whether that's like personality types and how you're going to naturally act within your personality, whether it's love languages and how you can get either full or empty and actually understand other people have different ones and embrace that.
Yes.
Whether it's strength finders and you kind of understand you're a strategic person or a competitive person and allow yourself to do things within your strengths and not within your weaknesses. Like there is something about having a study of yourself.
Yes.
Because now you can embrace how God made you. Like to your point about not comparing, I think it's a little dishonoring to God when you are trying to have something somebody else has and then almost downplaying what God gave you.
Right.
And so it is a thing. And, we live in a world today, as many people know, maybe they don't, where marketing in general, which is in our face all the time, is what creates comparison, right? Because the marketing agenda, I want you to buy my product. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you feel like you aren't living up to something.
Right.
And therefore, the only way you ever will is if you buy my product. Right? So there's a constant pressure to compare. There's master geniuses at knowing how to push our emotions. But then, so how do you fight that off, right? Well, I think just one, you have to have it in front of you all the time that I am going to keep seeing myself as a masterpiece designed the way that God intended me to be designed, specifically for the family that I have. And so to your point, like, okay, keep that in front of you and then get into your prayer time and get into your Holy Spirit guidance time and allow God to guide you how specifically you're supposed to, actually navigate within your family.
Yeah, and to add to that,
there's not a better person in a position than you and your family.
Right.
There's not. If there was, God would have put them there.
Correct.
Right.
And to add to that, then on top of you getting in the best place by being in line with what God, has already spoken to you, is hanging out with other people that actually have those kind of standards that you want in your life.
That's good.
I will just tell you, you can get really lazy thinking, I desperately do want to get around other moms, so I'm going to go to this breakfast club, and I'm going to join this over here, and then I'm going to start talking to these women over here, and none of them actually align with how you want to run your household or how your faith is or how your marriage is or how your connections are with people. Because you're so desperate, you'll just kind of take whatever's out there. I will tell you, as a mom and a woman, you need to be so careful with your community of who you choose to have in your area of speaking into you. Because otherwise, naturally, you will start working below of where you want to be in life, And I remember in a season, we used to live in an area that was pretty remote. When the babies were really young, we lived in kind of a remote area. We lived on like 9 acres. It wasn't a big community. It was, out there in the country a little bit. And so there wasn't a lot of high-level moms to choose from in my area to have a relationship with that I could connect with. And it was really a hard time for me because I always felt like I was the one. That was it. I could not find another mom that had the kind of standards or the emotional intelligence or maybe the, the confidence, whatever the case may be in motherhood. And I had to realize I actually had to study some of it and go online to find a community, for a season until I could get around other women that were at the level of where I wanted to be or am. And so just know as a mom, like, yes, it is fun to do little play dates with people at school or something like that, but you do not need to sit there and put yourself in a position that's not going to have you where you want to be in life. Don't allow other women to influence you in a negative way, or their parenting's not very healthy, or their faith isn't healthy, or their kids' behavior is so off track, or they're, gossiping about stuff or complaining about their husbands or whatever the case may be. Like, do not put yourself in those situations because you're only going to hurt your peace in your home. Mm-hmm. It's really big.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna embrace comparison in any way, the best way to do it is to compare your current self to a healthiest version of yourself.
Correct.
And then you have a runway of how to improve. But you see, that healthiest version of yourself has to come from your understanding of how God made you, where he placed you,
right,
what your purpose and mission is.
Yep.
And it's not going to be the same as other people, right?
No, so you got to be careful with that.
Yeah. Okay, so what's another one? So we talked about comparison. We talked about mom guilt, right? And having to learn how to replenish. What are some other things that you struggle with as
I think all new moms struggle with the fact, like, they're not sure how they want to be a mom, maybe compared to how their mom was a mom to them. My mom is amazing. I love her, and we are very close. The kids call my parents Nanda and Baka. They're coming to visit in a couple weeks. We enjoy all the relationships we have with our parents. Both you and I both do. But we both kind of made a decision that we wanted to parent different than our parents did. That came from a lot of decisions. Again, Greg's background, my background, what that looked like, and how do we come together and make our family unit work best for our personalities, our goals, how many kids we want, like all that to say. Mm-hmm. But even like the way my parents did and your parents did, like, it worked for them back then.
Sure.
It worked for them. Yeah. Like, it was a different season. I mean, it was a
different world.
Like, literally a different world. We grew up, a long time ago, where there wasn't social media and there wasn't the craziness going on like it is today. There wasn't
like a lack of standards within even media stuff or TV stuff, whatever.
Or at schools, or influences that were super negative and ugly, and so, and you came from a small town, so you even saw less of it, I would say, and I came from like a little suburbia homes. So all that to say, they parented at a different time than us, and it looks different today. So to think that I need to take everything my mom did with my brother and I and apply it exactly like she didn't actually align with my personality or how I wanted to run our household or how you and I saw our household being run. We had many more children than my mom had in a short amount of time. Like, there's just so many different factors. So I think sometimes, as maybe it's just a woman thing, because your mom was your mom, just like we were talking about how I'm the mom, right? At first you think, I need to duplicate it just like my mom, or I'm being dishonoring, or I don't appreciate, or whatever the case may be. And so that was hard for me at first. And then on top of that, learning our new way, which was hard in itself, figuring out what would work for us, but then being able to communicate that with my mom, that it's my season to be mom. I love that you did what you did with us growing up, but I'm looking to do it this way, and I would like support in that. Not, I make you feel bad because I'm not doing it your way. That was a hard season.
And it was hard for your mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, your mom kind of dealt with guilt with this.
Yeah.
Because it was interesting because I don't know how this works, but she would see you doing things differently. So she would challenge them.
Right.
But then over time, she also sees how much better your things were working than she expected. And then she'd almost feel guilty, like, well, I never taught you this, Jackie. Right? And it's so hard because you're trying to be like, yeah, but you gave me the foundation and it's good. And you were always super honoring, but it really bothered her. So my point is, like, so there is a pressure because you don't want to make your own mom feel guilty or whatever, like she didn't do a good enough job. It's not really the point. It's like you and I talk about all the time. Part of our mission in life is to try to keep doing better in all of our categories with our kids. And whatever we accomplish in this life was our ceiling, but it becomes their floor. We want them to build on top of it. We want them to build from it. We don't want them to just be underneath it.
No.
It's like, take it and run to the next level.
And I remember this one time, and I'll just tell this quick little story, but my parents had been watching our kids, which they were having a blast doing, a weekend with them. But throughout the weekend, the kids would call me numerous times to ask if they could do something with their grandparents, with my parents. And they were younger, just asking, hey, Mom, is it okay if we do this? Is it okay if we do this? And my mom was getting more irritated that they kept calling me, like that she was failing, or that she was being judged, or that I didn't trust her, right? And I remember taking it to the Lord and being like, how do I have this conversation with her? You know, like I actually love that my kids call me and ask me. I actually honor that. It's not that I don't trust my parents. That's not the case. I wouldn't have left them with them if I didn't. But the fact is, this is my season to be mom. And I actually like these phone calls. Mm-hmm. And so I remember my mom bringing it, like the kids were bugging you all weekend. Is it that, you know, you guys don't trust us to make these decisions for them? Like, why are they calling you so much? And I just, in the most loving way, said, Mom, we trust you. We wouldn't leave our kids with you if we didn't trust you. Right. We know you love them and that you're going to protect them and stuff. Mm-hmm. But right now, this is my season to be mom. And I've earned the right to be a mom in this season to my kids. You are a phenomenal mom to me. But in this season, I've been called to be their mom. And I actually like when they call me on this stuff. I welcome it, you know? Right. They actually just want to confirm, Mom, is this what you would do? Because we love you, Mom. We want to do it your way. Because so when they do this, they're not being dishonoring to you. They're just being
honoring to you.
I'm their mom now.
That's right. They can honor you without it feeling like dishonor to her.
Correct. Yeah. And I need you to understand that and step in and be like, of course, call your mom. Double check to make sure that works. And if not, no big deal. Mm-hmm. That's a lot more us working together, and the kids don't have to make a decision who to listen to. Mm-hmm. And that was a big change.
So parents, just so you know, you're not only going to have to train your kids, you're going to have to train your parents. Right? In some ways.
I know. You know. I wonder if we'll be trained in the future, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a feeling.
I have a feeling with all of our kids' personalities.
That's okay, too.
It is. We'll take it well.
Anyways, great stuff, hon.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.